Alrighty, YouTube, it's your boy Zxous, and we're back with another Goddess of Victory Nikke video. And in today's video, I just want to have a little discussion with you guys, talking about, obviously, not really about the character's kit, because again, you've probably seen enough about it. But I want to talk to you guys on why you need to have this character, right? This character, if I've ever in this game, for the entire year of Nikke, ever seen a character that is literally game changing, this is probably like the real life most ever game changing character, right? And I highly recommend to you for everyone to get this character at least one. If you're a new player, definitely you want this character because she's really insane, right? Like I think a lot of people are distracted more behind of what this character does instead of actually like realizing how much is going to benefit your account, right? You guys, if you don't know, which I'm sure you know, she's a burst 1, 2, and 3 character, right? She's a burst 1, 2, and 3 character that's on a 40-second cooldown. The thing is, by you being able to use her as a burst 1, 2, and 3 character, she actually saves a lot of people who are like, you know, I want to say she saves a lot of people who don't have all the characters they need to get through content. For example, let's say my burst 1 is only Noise. The problem with Noise as a burst 1 is that she's on a 40-second cooldown, right? She's on a 40-second cooldown. So because she's on a 40-second cooldown, to have an efficient, burst rotation, I always usually have to bring another burst 1 character, and that takes up another slot, and then I'm forced to bring 1 burst 2 and then 2 burst 3s. But with Red Hood being burst 1, 2, and 3, we can now finally in Nikke have comps like this, where you're able to bring a burst 1 and a burst 2 40-second cooldown unit, and then have your 3 burst 3s. Right, so like a team like this, right? Obviously, you wouldn't want to use Modernia's burst skill, but you would have a team like this, for example, right? And then Red Hood would be in the middle because you use Noise's burst skill, then you use Polly's burst skill, then you can use, Red Hood's burst skill. Well, you probably wouldn't use Red Hood's burst skill while you use their burst skill, right? You use Red Hood's burst skill after. So first rotation, you would use Noise, Polly, and then Elise, right? Then second burst rotation, all 3 of those characters will be on a cooldown. But guess what? Red Hood, again, because you can enter the burst rotation, the 1, 2, and 3 stage, she will literally be a whole team by herself. So I can now do Noise, Polly, Anise first burst rotation, then second rotation, Red Hood, then next rotation, again, Noise, Polly, Summer, Anise. Right, and I think that's the greatness about this character being a burst 1, 2, 3, right? And not only her being a 1, 2, 3, but Nikke shift up actually making it that we're able to use this character, her burst skill multiple times, right? I thought if they were going to have the mechanic where she was a burst 1, 2, and 3, we would only be able to use one of the burst skills, and that was it. So let's say we got to the burst rotation, the first burst rotation. If we didn't use her burst 1, then we could only use her burst 2. But if we used her burst 2, then we wouldn't be able to use the burst 3. That's how I thought it was going to be. But the fact that Shift Up made it that we're able to use her burst 1, 2, and 3 is really going to help so much players and so many new players, old players, people who are struggling in this game. It's really going to help them, with their teams. Because all you need is Red Hood. It's not like Red Hood is a character who's a burst 1, 2, and 3 and she's trash. She's fantastic. As a burst 1, if you're using her for the support role, which is the attack buff, she's probably going to give a massive attack buff, right? And if I find out that she's giving an attack buff based on her HP, that's going to make her even better. But, right, because it seems like she's damn near has like a piece of all the top tier characters' kits, right? It really does seem like she has all the top tier characters' kits in her kit. That's what it seems like. Right, so we'll see what that's looking like when we get the actual kit. But it really is nice to know that a lot of people won't be struggling if they just put one copy of this character, right? We can now run comps that were just bizarre before that you couldn't run, right? I think a lot of characters with Red Hood now being in the game have so much more potential, right? So much more potential. Who's the burst 1 that people want to use but is on a 40-second cooldown? Right, I guess it's really just Noise, right? Noise is probably the only one that's on a 40-second cooldown that people actually want to use. right? Probably just noise, right? And then when it comes to the burst 2, there's so many good burst 2 40-second cooldown characters, right? Obviously, Polly is one, Noah is one, Biscuit is one, right? These are good 40-second cooldown units, right? But again, because they're on a 40-second cooldown, people don't ever want to use, especially the burst 2. People don't like bringing multiple burst 2. So when these burst 2 characters are on a 40-second cooldown, it's like, you can't really use them, I feel like, right? Because like you're gonna want at least 2 burst 1s most likely, if anything, and then probably the 1 burst 2 and then 2 burst 3. But Red Hood being a burst 1, 2, and 3, like I said, is really good for the game, right? Being able to finally run a comp like this where I have 2 40 seconds and then I could bring up like 3 burst 3s, right? And still be able to like have a full efficient rotation, because the burst 3 character Red Hood is a burst 1 and 2 unit as well. It's so good. She really is something. I'm not going to lie to you. This, no question, is the best character in the game. Now, if you have 200 golden tickets, I highly recommend you use that, right? I've been telling you guys for months now to save your golden tickets for the anniversary. I told you guys summon on all these other top tier banners and build up pity for the anniversary character, because the anniversary character was going to be the best character in the game, right? It's just common sense, right? Now, I don't want to say it's common sense, because there are games where the anniversary character like isn't the best, but it's like hard to believe that Red Hood, who we already knew was the strongest, wasn't like, you know, gonna be the best character in the game, right? So it's like, you know what I mean? Like it really is nice. But she is a 1% rate up banner character. She is going to be 1%. You know what would be insane though? Is if she was 2%. Now, half anniversary was 1% as well. That's why I believe this is 1%, right? And I think they're giving away too much free multis, so I doubt they would actually give 2% on top of damn near half a rotation, right? Red Hood is the best character in the game. Her being 2% would actually just put Nikke on the top, right? Because then everybody would core 7, right? They would just make money. But yeah, in terms of like, just ignore like how good she is as a character in terms of damage or whatever. Take advantage of this character and pull her today. Or not today, when she comes out, of course, right? You definitely want to have this character. I think so many people benefit from it. Any new player, if you're wondering what you need to do, you need to just have Red Hood. Her being a one team, she's literally one whole team, right? She's literally one whole team. I could literally just do this, and I could put Red Hood, and then, you know, I could have 4 characters on the team, and that would be a full team, basically. Red Hood would just Red Hood first rotation. Then I could have a burst 1, burst 2, and a burst 3, and then cycle between 4 characters, right? It's really crazy. It really is. But you guys let me know what you think. Let me know your opinion, right? Let me know your opinion. There's so much to this character that I want to talk to you guys about. Right, like there's things that I didn't even mention in my other video where I was going over her kit. For example, if you guys did not know, Red Hood has the Pierce effect the entire game, right? And even in the showcase, it looked like she has damage to parts increased as well, because she was shredding parts, right? Now, I don't know how tanky those parts were, but she was definitely shredding parts. I have to look back to it and see what it would look like when Snow White was hitting, to see if those parts were really weak or not. Actually, let me take a look now. Okay, well, I can't really see because Snow White was going crazy too. It seems like when Snow White uses her burst skill, she ends up becoming weaker in terms of her normal damage when she does massive burst damage, right? You guys will see it like in the video if you guys want to go back. But yeah, basically the moral of this video, you need to have this character. There's really no ands, if, or but should you skip. There's really not. I really think like by skipping this character, you might as well quit the game. I'm joking, obviously. But like, are you really gonna pass up a character? This is a gold mine, right? Ignore the title of best character in the game. Ignore the title of hardest hitting character in the game. Ignore all that stuff. Just think about the fact that this character can help so many people, and just based on what they have on their account, can now actually be usable because of Red Hood, right? Again, what if I only have Noise as my only burst 1 in the game, but I can't do a full rotation because she's a 40-second cooldown? Or what if my burst 1s are only Emma and Noise, and I just can't do, like, you know what I mean? Well, I guess if I have both of them, I can with 2 of them. But, like, let's say I just have Noise, right? And she's my only burst 1 character in the game. You know what I mean? Obviously, as an older player, you're going to have much more characters, but as a newer player especially, if you only have one of these characters and they're 42nd, all you need to do is have this Red Hood character, and that's literally an additional burst of 1, 2, and 3 on your team. So I highly, 1,000,000% everything. Highly. Even if somebody was to start the game today, or not today, after the anniversary, the main target for reroll now will always be Red Hood. Because by pulling this character, you're pulling a full-blown team, essentially. That's the whole point of this video. So, good luck to everybody who is only summoning. I know a lot of people, didn't want to listen to me and wanted to use their currency on everything else besides, listening and not saving for the anniversary because they were like, oh, she's going to be a burst 2 defender. So it's like, da-da-da-da. I don't know why y'all would even come to that conclusion, but yeah, I mean, good luck to everybody who's only summoning with gems. If you listened and you have the golden tickets, congratulations, you've beaten Nikke. Well, actually, probably not, because Nikke is going to become insanely hard this next year, right? In terms of the difficulty for the older players, it's going to be very hard. But, hey, congratulations. I'm going to try to go for Core 7. My first Core 7 of the game probably has to be this character. She's really just that good. And especially if anything of her kit in terms of that attack buff, skills on how much like attack she has or how much HP is. If she gives an attack buff that skills off of her stats, holy smokes, is she gonna be so crazy. But you guys let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm out later. Peace.